figured out this Tampa Bay defense without all the good defensive backs they have. Now this pass rushing is elite. Tom Brady's only lost 3 games in a row, once in his career in 2002 when he was a young whippersnapper. Let's see if we can get this team to bounce back. I can't wait to see it.
Can't even think about him losing 3 games in a row. Doesn't even sound like Tom Brady.
That was 20 years ago, too. He ain't even like that no more.
Well, you know what? The offense. You talk about Antonio Brown. What can he do for Brady? He's missed the last 3 games. And in the 4 games he's missed, Tampa is just 1-3 compared to 5-0 with them. Tom Brady's numbers are also down without Antonio Brown, especially throwing downfield. His average pass attempt is 2 yards shorter when Brown is out. Now, look, we know there are problems on the defense with Tampa Bay. We saw what happened last week against the Washington football team. Not good. So, Lewis, I start with you. This is, in many ways, a Super Bowl or bust team. I know I keep saying that today, but, Tampa they want to repeat. We all know this, and anything less than that's going to feel like a disappointment. What is your level of concern over Brady in this offense?
I think with the offense, obviously, he needs to make sure that he's taking care of the football in the way that Tom's always taken care of the football. And I think decision-making is something that's always been one of his strong points. He'll get that figured out. Accuracy has always been something that's been one of his strong points. He'll get that figured out. This is not a team that's going to all of a sudden resort to turning around and handing the football off. That's just not what they do. But there's no question that Tom needs to play better. He'll get it figured out, and he needs his full complement of weapons, namely, and we had them up there on the board, they need AB back. They need Gronk back. And once they get them back, they will be right up there as far as talking about the best teams in the NFC and who's going to be the likely representative for the NFC in the Super Bowl. For me, it really is about the defense. And it really is about the secondary in particular with the number of corners that they have lost on that side of the ball, man. That's a problem because if they can't get to the passer, I'll tell you what, this Monday night is going to be interesting, man, because the Giants are going to be healthy at wide receiver, and they're as explosive as anybody when you're talking about speed and playmaking ability on the perimeter. Just watch out for this football game. This one could be closer, I think, than people expect.
Yeah, it could really expose that secondary on Tampa Bay. What are you seeing in this team?
Look, the loss of AB and Gronk is I don't think we can emphasize it enough, right? They're a big part of their offense and their defense. And in terms of the overall health for what we can expect from Monday, I talked to some people with the Bucs this morning about the status of AB because he went on Instagram and kind of teased the fans a little bit and made it feel like, oh, he's coming back this week. It was explained to me that it's a little iffy right now, right? So usually iffy translates like day to day. We'll see how it comes. Probably a long shot for him to play. But he's such a big part of their offense, as is Gronk. And until they get healthy, I don't really think we're going to see the big improvement. But I think the best way to describe where the Bucs are right now is just sloppy. And that needs to get cleaned up. And we saw their head coach pretty much admit that's going to be the focus of this week. And so we'll see if they'll be able to clean it up for this week.
Yeah, it's the very thing, Woody, that they were good at last year. They didn't make they didn't make the silly mistakes. Everything just seemed to click all the time. And this is not the same.
All the time, because they
did. Well, in the beginning, you're right. In the beginning of the season, after the bye,
and then all of a sudden they took off.
Right. So is that maybe that's a little bit of what we're seeing right now?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I've had people that like, what do you think about the Bucs? I'm like, you got 12 back there. Hell no, I'm not writing off the Bucs.
Yeah.
But I just think that they're not playing their best football. Obviously, injuries are playing a huge factor in how the Bucs are playing. Tom Brady's not playing his best ball right now. But again, I go back to what Lewis was talking about on the defensive side of the football. Yeah, we've talked, AB and Gronk ad nauseum, but on the defensive side of the football, that secondary is a problem. It is a big problem for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Can they generate enough pressure up front to help those guys on the back end, maybe mask some things on the back end? Because right now, you got Taylor Heineke and different other quarterbacks coming in, and they're shredding this Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense. They need to find some way to scheme it up and get this thing corrected on the defensive side of the football.
Yeah, I feel like today I'm all focused on the Super Bowl. I promise you I'm not, but we're talking about the teams at the top of the division. So, Bart, I ask you, this secondary, this team, this offense, does it look like a contender, a realistic contender to you right now?
if they get some of these guys back, and really this is going to force Todd Bowles to kind of change his game plan. Now, I think he went a little bit too extreme, dropping Villa in coverage last week. I mean, you got to do 300 pounds. Once he goes back, he can't stop. But you talk about, like, when you have the secondary guy like Richard Sherman, who you got off the scrap heap, this dude got hurt in warm-ups, man. That is the biggest sign that you owe. This type of thing, you get on, you sneeze, you pull something. Like Richard Sherman is barbecue chicken. So they desperately need to get some of these guys back. I know Bunley hurt his elbow early in the season. If they get some of these guys back, they can have an opportunity. But until then, can they do enough to be able to hold on? Listen, on the offensive side of the ball, they got two of everything. So I'm not concerned with AB and Gronk. That's what Mike Evans is supposed to be about. That's what Godwin's supposed to be about. Brady, OJ. How many damn great players does Tom Brady need? He's got more than he's ever had in New England. That defense is the issue.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.